let's go ahead and end the week with a classic. Let's end the week with I admit, the oversaturated. I think way too many of us talking about him, but that's what happens. Look, I don't blame anyone for talking about him. He's very funny, accidentally speaking, and he's become popular for a reason to laugh at and mock and gimmick. It's because if you're a funny person, like Chad Zumach doesn't understand this. He goes, all these guys just jumping on the Stuttering John thing so they can get clicks and likes. It's like, no, Chad, you don't know this because you're not a funny guy. Funny people want targets where it's even easier to be funny with. So if you're funny, you seek out these people so you can go, oh, there's one we can make fun of and tell a lot of funny jokes about. It's great. Same way we pick our news stories. You know, the Kanye stuff, the Taylor Swift stuff, the Nick Cannon stuff.
Shit's funny.
All the news stories, that police lady we talked about today. We get to be funny about it. That's why we watch you, because you're a goof, and it's easy for us to be funny. The clicks and the likes don't hurt, believe you me.
Helps the show.
But mostly it's the funny part. And Stuttering John is still very, very funny. Before we play any of these clips we have for Stuttering John, let's show April the mustache. So yesterday during John's show, he debuted with a mustache. And then all of a sudden, Stuttering John came back and he had half a mustache. And then...
Why would you do this?
He cut it again, and then all of a sudden... no more mustache. The mustache was gone.
I'm curious.
I'm trying to see if Dabblers Anonymous doesn't have pictures of that part.
I saw something that said, what the hell is this funky crust around
the crust around his collar. But I wanted to see. I saw it on Twitter. I thought they would have just had it on Dabblers Anonymous.
Got enough of the guys. Just send it real quick.
Muttering Jay. I'll just go through Muttering Jay. If you want to know anything about Stuttering John, you just go through Muttering Jay's Twitter. He'll have all the pictures for you.
Oh my God, these pictures.
Yeah, he tweets a lot, so we got to scroll down quite a ways to get Muttering. Goddamn. Follow Muttering.
Right there.
Where? No, that's with the mustache. Muttering Jay. Follow him on Twitter. Here we go. This is Stuttering John yesterday. He showed up on his stream. In my opinion, again, I don't know. This is just totally in my opinion. I think John has been drinking more lately because he just has a real hungover look to him all the time. Either that or he's not getting a lot of sleep.
Probably both, because think about it. Like we've been saying, the market is saturated on him right now. He's never had more people shitting on him.
That's true.
That's going to cause one to drink and not sleep.
I suppose. And also he's not getting any younger, but he always has that greasy hair and he looks like shit. And then whatever the fuck this is.
And look at that frumpy Tonight Show shirt.
Glory days.
Yeah.
This is
why
why
collar and everything.
This is why Chad is worse than Stuttering John, by the way, is because at least John has glory days to go back to. Zumach was cool in high school. And that, by the way, is flimsy at best.
That's not glory days to you?
That's not corroborated that he was cool in high school. That is just, we got to take his word.
What if people from his high school came out of the woodworks and like, no, that guy was a total douchebag?
If you went to high school with Chad Zumach, please contact the Steel Toe Morning Show. We'd love to have you on. And you can talk about how Chad was in high school. So John shows up. Chad's dad, John, shows up with this mustache yesterday on his Beer on the Balcony. And, this was the regular show. Beer on the Balcony was later. And then he went off camera, and then he comes back, and we have that. John missed half of his mustache.
How does he keep forgetting to do these things like off air before the show starts?
Because some people are just what they were born to be. And John was just born to be a fucking goof. He was just born to be a Luddite. But
at this point, why don't, just like the Inside Out shirt thing, why don't you fix it live on air? Why don't you shave your stash?
Have a sense of humor,
live
right.
on air? It'd be very funny.
Well, there's that old thing, if you own it, nobody can hurt you with it.
Dude, I've shaved Aaron's back on air before. Okay, it was very funny.
Had a hairy back. And then he comes back and, look at cutie. Look at our look at our clean-shaven boy.
He's ready for our date tonight.
He's ready for our big date, our clean-shaven boy. He big boy. It'll only take him 2 turns and he get all the fuzz off his face. So that was John yesterday. Now we have some clips of John. He is, and I agree with Daniel. He truly is a treasure.
Does
John,
he explain?
don't ever change.
Does he explain himself?
Never once. He's doing this new thing now where he turned the shirt inside out and then left his guest hanging, and his guest had no idea what he was doing. When John turned his camera back on, his shirt was right side out. And then he goes, "Oh, what happened, John?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm having technical problems."
I feel like when it's half a mustache, though, you have to.
You have to address
You have
it,
to say something.
You're going to get more trolls. I don't like the haters and I don't like the trolls. Then stop doing things like shaving off half your mustache, looking like a fucking dickhead, and not acknowledging it. He can still do the stupid things he does.
Yes.
He just has to have some fun with it.
I know. That's why I'm saying you have to do it live on the air. I think it'd be very funny.
The problem is, April, he fancies himself a political commentator now, and political commentators have to be serious.
Well, then you should at least excuse yourself. Say, like, I've got to go to the bathroom for a couple minutes. I'll be right back.
April, there is no room for joking. There is no room for acknowledging our mistakes as we move forward to defeat the transphobes.
Like when I run away, I say, hey, the dog's got to take a shit.
Exactly.
Or when I'm not here on Mondays for an hour, I'm taking a shit.
Like Tony Michaels is the same way. He won't address the shed stuff. He won't address the K2 arrest. He won't address that he's going by a fake name because he's a political guy and he's a commentator and he'll lose seriousness and people won't trust his great analysis anymore if they find out about that. Oh, that's why politics and political commentators are so gross and disgusting. They have this inflated sense of self that just leads to unlimited amounts of douchebaggery that we can go over. Here's John talking to Army Major Richard Ojeda. And let's just say John wanted to talk about something or talk about trolls or something else. And Richard Ojeda clearly just did not give a fuck about what John wanted to go. Oh, no, it was the debate in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And Richard Ojeda was just like, I love it when a host will like throw to his co-host, but then he doesn't realize, dude, you didn't say anything for the other person to comment back to.
That's what Chad does.
Yeah.
He does that to Tony Major and Tyler
Slavchik. Yeah. Poor Major. He's got to quit that show.
So, Joanne, Oz didn't do so well, and he hasn't had a stroke. I agree with that. Did you hear that?
That is so uncomfortable.
But it was such a bad throw by John. He's like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. I agree with that.
That guy was just sitting there waiting for you to either continue or fuck off that topic.
Like when you're a good host, like you watched, this is what's baffling about John. You watched the greatest who ever did it. And you didn't even learn a little about hosting a show.
Well, and
he's a guy who watched Howard Stern operate for years at his peak, at his prime, and he doesn't know how to do any of this shit.
Well, and I think that says a lot about why he doesn't hold a position like that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, like, for example, if you were at a boxing gym and you got to watch Muhammad Ali spar every day, by the time you left Muhammad Ali's gym, you would be able to go to the next gym and know how to throw a jab.
You should.
John doesn't know how to throw a jab, and he watched Ali fight for years, ringside.
You'd think just by osmosis it would have came in somehow.
Right.
Yeah. So Oz did, look.
Oh, no.
It's fun.
He's got nothing.
I was thinking about it, wow, what a show.
It's a funny little clip. So that's how John's show started, and the rest of these clips, guys, they don't get better. They don't get better.
It's awkward at best. Like, guys, I can't imagine agreeing to go on that guy's show at this point.
It's going to start as funny. John doesn't know how to host a show. Army Major's giving him nothing, so on and so forth. By the end of this, guys, I'm worried some of you might actually feel bad. It got drunk yesterday on his shows.
Okay.
And it got sad on his show. And it got defeated on his show.
Like I said, he's never had more people talking about him.
I think John is starting to fall apart. I think it's finally started.
Now, is this where everybody jumps ship, or are they going in harder?
I don't know, because
we've
cut ourselves. I think we'll get to last longer on this and keep it fresher because we've decided, you know what, one day a week we'll indulge in John and we'll have our fun.
It should only be fun.
I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to make John their whole thing all the time. Like we do, one day we'll do 20 minutes of Chad. We'll do 20 minutes of Opie. We'll do 20 minutes of this. And then the other 4 hours of the show is the stories we've gathered and the stuff we talk about. I think a lot of people are It's a delicious meal. It's a sweet treat, and they are gorging themselves on it right now.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that's
Can't
the
get
wrong.
enough.
I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do. I mean, to each their own. If you're having fun and you enjoy this, fucking do it, man. It's great. But I worry sometimes that the market is getting saturated. But I've been saying that for a couple weeks now. So
he's looking quite voluptuous.
Voluptuous
in this.
Try one more time.
Voluptuous.
One more time.
What the fuck?
One more time. You got
Why?
this.
Voluptuous?
No. You can do this. Voluptuous. Voluptuous. There's no M.
Now I'm as good as, you know what? I'm as good as Stuttering John.
No. That's more Brendan Schaub. Brendan Schaub would say.
Thank you. Now I'm as good as Brendan Schaub.
Hey. Let's make a rule right now. Let's all agree. Stop the show. April did something important there. I want to make sure we're all on the same page. Brendan Schaub better than Stuttering John.
Thank you. Thank you for at least putting me on a rung about that.
But is he not?
Yeah.
Brendan's better than Stuttering John. He's less sad. Brendan's just a big goof. John's just... yeah, Brendan's shenanigans are cheeky and fun, and John's are sad and tragic. All right, this is John. He's having a beer on the balcony. This is the show that people pay a monthly fee for, April. They pay his Patreon for beer on the balcony. And he's supposed to have a big guest, right?
Yes.
He's supposed to have somebody big, like he's had Nikki Fried, who was the Democrat who came in second in the governor's primary. I mean, look.
Such a big get.
Look, big get is in quotes here, but still, he's supposed to have a guest. Well, John doesn't have a guest for this beer on the balcony. So we're going to go through a few clips of what a Stuttering John show without guests looks like.
With beer.
Yes.
Scooter.
That's my other thing about John. He is a chugger, boy.
The skull thing has to stop.
The skull has to stop. As Viking fans, the skull thing has to stop. I'm not going to be at that game on Sunday doing that chant thinking of Stuttering John. I'll be fucking pissed. But he is a beer chugger, man. He just takes that thing, like every sip, it's like he's about to go to the gallows, and this is the last sip of beer he's ever going to get. Oh, my God. Watch Cardiff Electric's channel and the way the John puppet drinks.
It's accurate.
It's pretty accurate. Cardiff Electric, if I may, quick suggestion. You can tell me to fuck myself. It might not be any good. If you could, while you're doing it, take some water gulps and maybe spill some while you're doing so we get some sound effect. Totally on you, though. I'm not your gimmick.
Scooter.
Oh, you just hear it.
I don't like that I can hear it.
Yeah.
But so I was going to say on this beer on the balcony, and I have been trying desperately to get guests.
Oh.
My trolls have been contacting, any guests that they see me. If I reach out on Twitter, they contact them, and
Come on. John, you're hosting.
Tell them not to go on my show.
That's not what they do. What they've been doing is showing them old Howard Stern clips where John's being racist or John's saying the N-word or John's getting beat up in one of his man on the street interviews and like, wow, you endorse this, you condone this. Now, let me come out against that and put myself kind of against the wall to face the firing squad of the Dabblers here. As a guy who's purely doing this for comedic purposes, I think I'm kind of against that.
I'm against it big time. I'm actually not feeling very good watching this clip.
I want John to have guests. The more legitimate John's guests get, the more funny it is to watch John sit there and try to interview like a real political player. It just makes John look dumber. It makes John look more like he doesn't belong there.
Well, and to me on this show, we're just playing him being silly and we're having fun with it. I'm not actively like sending his potential guests shit that will make them not go on here.
I want John to thrive because
I want all the fools to thrive.
Because John isn't funny because he's unsuccessful. John's funny because he's just naturally an oaf and a goof and a dumbbell. So he's still going to be that. He'll just be one that gets really good guests.
And now if he's really sad, he's not going to be as good for him. Like,
right.
It's not going to be as good to watch for us.
Guys, you got to leave your lol cows nourished.
And whatever the case may be, I don't really give a crap. There'll always be guests. There'll always be more.
But there's not. You can't say there's always going to be guests.
Dude.
Today we don't have any guests.
Even I wouldn't say that.
Yeah. Like, we're always going to have bacon for breakfast. I'm sorry, you can't have bacon. We're out today. I apologize.
It's too expensive.
Too expensive.
And on Saturday, I will have a guest. I didn't anticipate this happening today, but who the hell gives a shit? This is just me chewing a shit with you. That's what Beer on the Balcony is.
But could you
I
be
don't
happy?
really care about, I love having guests on, but if I don't have a guest, I'm fine.
He sounds
Dude,
seconds from crying.
It does. It's really sad. 17 people. Now, this is a members only kind of a thing that he does, but 17 people on his Beer on the Balcony show. And also, he's just kind of being a sad sack of shit.
Yeah, that didn't feel good.
That didn't feel, well, it only gets worse.
Well, thanks, Aaron.
This is John killing time. Again, this is the show that people pay for John to do. God, he just really fucking guzzles
I don't
that
like the
beer.
drink. Like, what is this?
Yeah. No, you got to tip it way the fuck back.
I got way too much water in there.
John
I'm gonna
goes-
spill. I got no lid on mine.
I don't mind spilling. I'm in character. You don't think John's got a little beer stain on that shirt? What's that right there? Is that shading or a beer spill?
It's a spilly.
And now let's get into our...
Oh, another thing you'll notice in these clips, he gets progressively drunker.
Well,
as
I would
we go.
imagine you're chugging.
He's guzzling.
funniest movies of all time. We've already covered Vacation.
No. So he doesn't have any guests, so he can't do a show. So he's basically digging into the Morning Zoo bag of tricks. Like the I don't have anything to talk about. So let's go best comedies of all time. I think he goes into best guitarists of all time.
Best bands.
We're
of all
doing
time.
lists, basically. We're doing BuzzFeed lists on the Stuttering John Beer on the Balcony show. I want to see a second-rate Democratic politician talk about trans kids, John. You're taking away what I'm paying for.
And now,
Sir, you're on the air.
well, I would say
There's people watching.
Meet the Parents.
What is happening?
Did he just put Meet the Parents as one of his best? Look, I'm not saying the Meet the Parents movies are like trash or anything, but like best comedies of all time.
I certainly don't go to them.
I mean, top of my head, I could go Caddyshack,
Tommy Boy.
Slapshot, Tommy Boy. There's three right off the bat better than that. Super Troopers, Tropic Thunder, or as Brendan Schaub would say, Hot Topic. Wayne's World.
Austin Powers.
The
are
Austin
very funny.
Powers movies.
The Ace Ventura movies.
Ace Ventura movies. Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
I mean, Jesus, John. I'll go Fletch. I'll say Dutch before I'll say Meet the Parents. But okay, John. Anchorman.
Animal House is hands down.
Ghostbusters.
Caddyshack.
John, this is...
I mean, that's a solid pick.
John, do a show. John, do a show. You're having a garage conversation. Guzzle. Oh, guzzle. There you go. Oh, that was a big boy guzzle. That was a big boy one. Oh, God. The hearing.
Let's see.
He's literally drinking beer,
I don't
scratching
like
his
it.
belly, and talking about his favorite comedies with 10 seconds of silence in between.
I don't like this at all.
Who are these 34 people currently paying money to watch this?
They're making sure he's not dead yet.
That's true.
It's a wellness check.
By the way, April, another drunken fall mark right there?
I don't know. That is an old person thing right on their wrist.
Yeah, they've got a cut, kind of a recently
It's
opened
the chest
cut.
ones that bother me.
I think John's been doing some drunken bumping into walls lately.
Funniest movies of all time.
Can we get... Guys, this is why you don't want him not having guests.
Come on. Somebody call in.
Oh, this is fucking awful. We're now at the point where we go, someone help him. Good thing that's a green screen, because if it weren't, he's seconds away from jumping off the balcony.
That's what I'm saying. Those 34 people are doing a wellness check.
It's beer off the balcony as he just goes, whoosh.
How long before he's hurling off it, too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, John, it's not an actual balcony. Beer on the balcony wasn't very impressive, according to oh, yeah, this is where the beer on the balcony... Now, remember, these are people who paid to watch his show. They start shitting on the quality of show in the chat at this point. Again, John's getting a little more toasty. He's trying to have some fun. And just as he tries to kind of pull himself out of his funk, the audience lets him know that he sucks ass.
He's smiling here at least.
Yeah.
Brad, could you take me in the cruising vessel?
Oh, no, somebody
Are we
wrote, it's
reading?
like a documentary on alcoholism.
And the last person said, does this show end when he passes out?
Yeah, when did John become unique?
That's a really good question.
John is now Kyle Swindell.
But I feel like at least for Unique, someone's there to like cut the feed eventually.
That's true.
For him.
Going bowling.
Oh, why do I?
Why do I
Kevin,
talk
dumb
that?
fuck, you asshole. He's just right
Kevin.
there in John's chat. Skål!
Yes. Nicholas Coppola is Francis's nephew.
Loser. Oh, no. They'll shoot this at AA eventually.
Oh. Skål!
Oh,
Kevin.
stop it.
Did you see Kevin's
Yes, I
comment?
saw Kevin Dumbfuck. Oh, there's Chairman Meow. He shows up in our chat from time. Oh my
Chairman
God.
Meow's the shit.
Oh my God, we're getting all the classics.
I love Chairman Meow.
Donald Trump.
Now I'm going to list my top 5 greatest guitar players in the Nuggets.
Oh no, we're just
You
getting.
just called that.
You guys, Stuttering John fans, you're all just paying for filler
the
at
next
this point.
the next list is going to be his top hottest women of all time.
Who's the hottest woman? We'll have to do it by decade.
He's gonna say like a Sarah Palin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure he would. B Dabbler says this is like watching the world's longest snuff film. God, and he's seeing these.
Not reading them though.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with number 1.
Talk.
Eddie Van Halen. Skål!
Oh, this is so hard to watch. I told you.
You know I'm uncomfortable.
I told you
This
yesterday we're starting to get to mass,
I don't think
critical mass with John.
somebody has got to be live with him, or it's not worth it.
Joey Van
anymore.
Ostrand, another Steel Toe fan. This is God, there's like, I've seen 4 Steel Toe fans in there so far. This is a testament on exactly what not to do with your life. Fuck, asswipe, get a Kleenex, you nasty cunt. God.
Then I go to my number 2.
He takes a shit.
Randy Rhoads. Skål!
Oh, God, did he do one of those?
So he's doing the thing where you say a thing and drink.
Oh, because that's what he needs to do. Speed up the drinking. That's what he needs to do. The drinks need
He's
to go
playing
down
fuck
faster.
the dealer right
Yeah,
now.
he's socially drinking too much. You know, he really needs to
Yeah.
pound it. Oh. $5 from Lazy Shorts Opie and Anthony says it's like Grizzly Man, except it ends with John being eaten by cockroaches. And he died of something else first.
Something's not okay here.
Donald Trump becomes president again, and he has a COVID vaccine heart attack and dies, and the roaches eat his corpse.
I don't know how you sat here watching this once to decide like show prep, and then you have to watch it
Dude,
again.
we have 2 more.
I don't know how you're doing
I'm
it.
telling you, we have 2 more clips, and it's watching John just slowly slip into a tragic goodbye on his show. This is Sad John talking about trolls on Beer on the Balcony today. Here we go.
Oh boy, these trolls are just trying.
He's hammered.
Yeah. I'm so scared.
Oh.
Fucking, I don't know, Andrea. I know you're here for Beer in the Balcony, so I know you're blocking these guys, even though they're coming in fast and furious. But
Don't say that, John. Stop acknowledging. Stop talking about them. The only way to get through this, John, is to own what your shortcomings are, own what you suck at, and embrace it. Then nobody can hurt you with it. As a broadcaster, know what your strengths are, know what your weaknesses are, and don't try to pretend your weaknesses are strengths. Yeah, you used to be. You know who does a really good job of this? And here goes. Chad Zumach can watch this and tell me how much I suck his dick. Anthony is very realistic about this. Anthony always says, I had my peak with Opie and Anthony. I'll never get back there again.
He's
That's
so funny.
That's a once-in-a-lifetime accomplishment. Now, I do my show. I'm happy with doing my show. Whatever audience I have, and I'll do a great show for them.
Right.
That's the kind of attitude you need. This guy acts like he can still big-time people because 20 years ago, he was on Stern and The Tonight Show.
Well, and Stern used to be really good at that too. Like way back in the day, he knew what his shortcomings were. He was funny about it.
Yeah, and also he had so many people around him that he was kind of insulated. Howard, if you go back and look, was never very good at taking a joke. That's one thing Howard couldn't do, was be the butt of the joke, and that's where him and Artie clashed sometimes. Is because Artie would make fun of him, and Howard would no-sell that a lot of the time. But let's watch an obviously inebriated John talk about his haters and really make some cogent points.
you know what? Just keep in the back of your head that it's kind of cool that I have these people that are so obsessed with me and my life, and they are obsessed with everything about me.
It's fair.
You know? And as Reggie Jackson once said, they don't boo nobodies. Thank you.
Yeah, but they laugh at them.
Oh, God.
We're not booing you, John. That's the
No.
problem you have. We're not booing you. We would never boo you. That's a waste of, hatred takes a lot more energy.
This guy's not married, right?
No.
So there's nobody to check up on him.
She left a long, long time ago and took the kids. And
Oh, she took the kids too.
oh, yeah.
So why does he talk about the kids so much then?
Because a lot of people who never see their kids try to compensate by talking about their kids a lot. It's kind of a coping mechanism.
Okay.
I'm pretty open about my kid situation. 50, half the time they're here, half the time they're not here. You know, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, my kids, my kids, my kids, my kids, because I'm comfortable with the amount of time I have with them. You know, people who aren't, they tend to, those are the ones who get really, Red Bar kind of nailed that about Sam Tripoli, you know, that Sam gets really defensive of his kids because Sam feels like he's lacking in the involvement department.
I just really noticed that John seems to back up his kids a lot and defend them. So I figured maybe he was around them quite a bit.
He uses his trans kid as a way to go after Anthony.
Okay.
That's a lot different. Let's go ahead and watch the last clip of John. This is him signing off Beer on the Balcony. And I'm sorry, this is just the way it was posted in terms of the size.
Oh, Robert. So now, everybody, I am going to take off. I hope you enjoyed this Beer on the Balcony without any guests.
Oh.
And now I leave.
Just sounds like a guy who's about to R. Bud Dwyer the end of his show. It's just like we're going to get a fucking castool in his mouth. And
I'm a little worried about him, I'll be honest. This is an unstable guy, and I'm picturing him shutting the cameras off and going and laying in the fetal position somewhere.
You know what I say?
Crying.
You know what I say, April? Que sera, sera. That's what I say regarding John wrapping up his show.
Stuttering John saying, Gigi.
And then they put that at the end. All right, guys. So there's our weekly, as April will call it, our wellness check on Stuttering John. Yeah, Guy Sartell says, it's true. I have my kids 100% of the time, and I hate those fuckers. Right.
Okay.
If you have your kids, if you're a divorced couple and you have the parents and the step-parents and it's 50-50, everybody loves those kids a bunch. If it's 75-25, there's more bitterness, there's more hostility and anger in one of them. And then if it's 100% of the time, you're just like, God damn it, fucking leave for a little bit.
It's probably why everyone always tells us not to have any kids.
People, yeah, if you're around them 100% of the time, you're like, why are you people doing this? Don't you
Why
know?
would you do that to yourselves?
People are saying in the chat, I genuinely feel bad for John. Look,
I'm starting to.
I told you
that
guys.
Didn't help.
I told you guys that might happen with today's clips that we have. But let me say this about, I don't know if this will help you at all. My personal opinion on everybody, on chat, on everybody we're not connected with, on everybody that's not someone I know personally, I don't care either way about them. Chad is a gimmick to me. John is a gimmick to me. All of these people, they're gimmicks to me. What happens to them and what doesn't happen to them is 100% their business. I just watch, joke, and cover. That's all I do.
Hold on, though. We're part of these trolls that he's referring to.
Yeah.
And the reason why he's getting sad and all that shit. So technically, we are part of that.
Yeah, but I don't care. That's what I'm saying. Do you understand? The point
I've always very much been somebody who doesn't like hurting somebody else. So if I feel like I've done something wrong.
If I was going into his house and doing this to him, you're right. That would be a fucking asshole thing to do. He's putting this shit out there for public consumption, and I'm saying it's dog shit. And if that fucks him up, sorry, Johnny, you should have done something else.
I enjoy people like a Chad Zumach, though, that'll kind of do a back and forth with us. When somebody's kind of laying down like this and getting sad and drinking, and they're not playing back with me, I don't feel like that's fun anymore.
Well, there's a difference between it's not fun anymore and I feel bad. There's certainly not fun anymore moments, but I never feel bad.